Hi warriors, this is Jalen Megahead, my legal warrior, and today's segment is going to be about temporary restraining orders and domestic violence. So as you may know, the court is shut down for all purposes in family law with one exception, getting a temporary restraining order. So temporary restraining order is when you need immediate relief from the other party because you and or your children or people that live with you, including pets that also are with you, are being threatened in any way and you fear for your safety given the other party's behaviors towards you, your family, your pets, and whoever it is that lives with you. Can be friends. So in order to file for a domestic violence restraining order, you really need to have that be clearly established. We've been hearing a lot of child custody and visitation disputes between the parents. And so you really want to make sure that your temporary restraining order is not about child custody and visitation because that will guarantee you a denial. The courts are open to accept the filings for a temporary restraining order. So you can go to your local courthouse and file the temporary restraining order, and you weigh in the business office and all of that. And the temporary restraining order will expire in 3 weeks. That's the law. And in 3 weeks, you will be in front of a judge, or should be in front of a judge, I should say, to explain why the restraining order needs to go beyond than just those 3 weeks. And if it's denied, you still need to go ahead and explain to the court why it should go, why you should actually have a restraining order because your temporary was denied. But the situation right now is that the court is actually rescheduling, all these hearings. And since it's been closed for now at least a week, the court doesn't actually have any notices that has been, sent out about these restraining order hearings or other hearings related to custody and visitation. I haven't received anything in the last week, but I presume that those cases would be first in line since they are being rescheduled. I haven't received any notices for the rescheduling of my hearings, and those hearings were last week, and I wasn't informed of the rescheduling. So I just was told that the court was closed and you could appear by court call, but yet nothing happened on court call. So, but anyways, that's a different topic for a different day about talking about how to get on court call. But for the temporary restraining order, you really want to ensure that it is because your life or your safety is at stake given the other party's action. Give you an example of you or your children or your pet's life or safety or overall well-being is not really at stake. An example of that is maybe the other parent is constantly messaging you like every few hours about wanting to see the children, and you're saying no because of the coronavirus. I just think it's best the children just only stay with me and not with you because you're out and about going to work, and the children are here and I'm working from home and I just don't want them to be exposed. And so if you file a restraining order saying that the other parent's constantly harassing to see the kids, and the reason why they're not seeing the kids is because you've made that decision on your own as to what you thought was in the best interest of the children, which is to not see or spend time with the other parent, court's not going to grant you a restraining order because of that. If that was the case, then everybody in San Diego County would just be filing the same exact motion. So you really have to make that distinction. An example of what would be harassment is if they're constantly texting you saying negative things about you that's unrelated to the children. It's not beneficial, and they're calling you names, maybe threatening to kill you, threatening to take away the kids if you don't do certain things. They're trying to intimidate you. So those are things that would grant you a temporary restraining order. But language is everything. It's really about how you write it, and I wanted to just take the time to show you how to access the forms for a restraining order. So I'm going to share my screen here in a second. Here we go. All right. So this is the page that you want to go on, which is www.sdcourt.ca.gov. And I just, clicked on home, and here I am. So then I'd want to go to family, because restraining orders that are domestic violence restraining orders are going to be found under this tab, and you're going to go to forms. And under forms, there's a bunch of forms here that you can see, but the one that you're looking for if you're filing for a restraining order is going to be that, because you are the applicant to the restraining order, and it has literally all the information that you need to go ahead and file for one. One of the biggest and probably the most important forms right now is this one, the order for removal from the residence, because if you're living with your abuser and they're, again, threatening your safety, then you have the ability to ask the court to remove that abuser from your residence. Now, you can't just remove them if your name's not on title, or your name is not on the lease, and you're not paying any of the rent, you're not paying any of the mortgage. And that's, the court's going to have a big issue in actually removing somebody that their name is on the lease and they're paying the mortgage or the rent, and you're not. So that's going to be a tricky, situation to give the court authority to remove somebody from their own home, and the one that's the victim, doesn't have a claim to that residence. So you must have some sort of claim to the residence in order for you to request an order for removal. And then if you do have kids, this particular form does not necessarily address the children being protected in the restraining order and to get a custody and visitation order. But this is your request for the restraining order, and if you do have kids, then you would, with the abuser, then you would go ahead and list this information here, and then you would also list their information here. But if you wanted custody and visitation orders, there is this section, section 12, and it's asking, I do not have a child custody or visitation order and I want one, or I have a child custody and visitation order and I want it changed. And so if you did want to ask for orders, it tells you right here, Form DV 105, request for child custody and visitation orders. And so the court is going to give you custody and visitation orders if you in fact fill out this Form DV 105. But there's actually a whole form in this packet. This one addresses custody and visitation, and it has it right here, the DV 105. So you can actually ignore the other packet if you don't have children whatsoever and you're just trying to get away from like a boyfriend or your brother or your cousin, somebody that has some sort of familial relationship with you. That's or a romantic relationship is somebody that you're going to file a restraining order against without kids. But if you do have kids, then this is the form that you do want to use. And I'm just going to show that to you again because I initially clicked on this. And then there is the restraining order with children packet, which is this one right here. So it's going to go through all these different sections for a request for a restraining order. We don't have time to get through that today, but there's explanations as to how to fill out these forms throughout this packet. And I will direct you to one other packet, which is if you're the person receiving the restraining order because you are allegedly abused the other party, then you're going to want to go through this packet and review it and complete it and make sure that you try and file your response at least 2 calendar days before the hearing. So this is the form that you're going to go ahead and use, and another time we can go ahead and review these packets together. But for the time being, we are going to conclude our segment. And if you did find this helpful in any way, please share this content. You definitely don't know who might need this information unless you share it. You really don't know what's going on behind closed doors in other people's homes. And it would just be great for them to have this free resource and to just be educated, because there's a lot of information out there about the wrong things and how to do things, but it's not correct. It's not from a reliable source. So please share this with your friends and family. Do everybody a solid favor by sharing with friends and family. If you do that, then who knows who you could help. And otherwise, please be well, be safe, and have a good Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, March 24, 2020, and we hope that you continue following us. Thank you.